Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak. Dear believers, please move forward and keep the road straight, as well as turn off all cellular phones or silence them. And the khutbah today you will hear from Imam Faheem Shuaibe is also part of our Ramadan session this year. And we need you to go on and register for the Ramadan session, which will begin this afternoon, I believe at 6 p.m. and then run throughout the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And there's tickets available downstairs, so please pay and register. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya lis-salah, hayya lis-salah, hayya lil-falah, hayya lil-falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. All unqualified praise is due to Allah, and after that, all unqualified praise is due to Allah. Alhamdulillah, alladhi khalaqa al-insana fi ahsani taqweem. All unqualified praise is due to Allah, who created the human being in the most excellent mold. Wa ba'atha nabiyyin mubashirin wa munzirin, and commissioned from among them messengers as bringers of good news and as warners. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له
And I bear open and sound testimony without hesitation, without reservation, without embarrassment, that there is no deity, no object of worship except Allah. Lahul mulk, His is the kingdom. Wa lahul hamd, to Him is due all unqualified praise. Biyadihi al-khayr, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. In His hand is all good, and over all things He has power. وَنَشْهَدُ أَنَّ سَيِّدِينَ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. And we bear open and sound testimony without hesitation, without reservation, without embarrassment, that there is no deity, that Muhammad, to whom the Quran is revealed, is His slave servant, His last and final prophet. We say, Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Send your prayers and your peace and your blessings upon our leader Muhammad, wa ala alihi, upon his family, wa sahbihi, upon his companions, ajma'een, all of them. Wa ya ayyuhal muslimun, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, wa Jumah Mubarak, wa Ramadan Mubarak. أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيب صدق الله العظيم. Allah the Mighty has spoken the truth. A translation of this first verse of the 4th surah of the Quran is, O mankind, be regardful of your guardian evolver who created you from one soul and created from it its mate and dispersed from the both of them many men and women, and fear Allah. Be regardful of Allah, through whom you implore for your mutual rights, and be regardful of the wombs that bore you. Surely Allah is ever over you watching. There's a report from Hudayfa radiallahu an, may Allah be pleased with him, from our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it says, Hudayfa said, I heard two narrations from the Prophet, peace be upon him. I have seen one crystallized into reality, and I'm waiting for the other. He told us trust and honesty was settled into the root nature of human beings. Then the Quran was revealed, and they learned it from the Quran, and they learned it from my Sunnah. Then he, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, told us about the removal of honesty. He said that a man would have a wink of sleep and honesty would be taken out of his heart, leaving only the impression of a faint mark. He would again go to sleep, and then trustworthiness would be taken away from his heart, leaving an impression of only a blister, as if you had an ember had rolled down on his foot and it blistered. He would see the swelling, but the swelling would have nothing in it. And he, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then took a pebble and he rolled it over his foot, demonstrating what he's speaking of. And he said, the people will enter into transactions among themselves, and hardly a person would be left that would return things that were entrusted with them, and there would be so much of a lack of an honest person to be found that it would be said, oh yeah, in such and such tribe there is a trustworthy man. And they would also say about a person, oh, he's prudent, he's broad-minded, and he's intelligent. But in his heart there would be not the faith, the weight of a mustard seed. Huzaifa goes on and he says, there was a time in which I wouldn't care whom among you I entered into a transaction, because if he were a Muslim, his faith would compel him to observe his obligations to me. And if he were a Christian or a Jew, the ruler could compel him to discharge his obligations to me. But today, I don't enter into any transactions except with so-and-so. Sadaqa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In keeping with the theme for this weekend, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the personification of the excellence of human nature. Today we speak to, this morning, or rather this evening, still morning somewhere in the country. Nafsun wahida and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nafsun wahida and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya ayyuhan nasu taqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida. O human beings. Ya ayyuhan nas. Many different translations. We're not going to do a lot of Arabic translating. O human beings. O social creature. And nas is also another word that applies to civilization. When we talk about an-nas, you talk about mankind. But it's talking about the broader population formed into, let's call them cultural modes. So, ya ayyuhan nas taqu rabbakum, be regardful of your guardian evolver. You didn't start like this. Each and every one of you was one that if the adult of your species walked away from you at the moment of birth, then you wouldn't have survived. All of us are social creatures. All of us are realized, actualized, matured, because there's a society that nurtures us. There's a society that cultivates us. And so God is telling us to remember that. Taqu rabbakum, be regardful of your guardian evolver. Indeed, when we talk about education and parenting, they both come from an Arabic term, tarbiyah. Tarbiyah, the same word for education, is the same word for parenting. And so, rabbukum, taqu rabbakum, be regardful of your guardian evolver who created you min nafsun wahida. Khalaqakum min nafsun wahida. He created you from a single spiritual essence, a single spiritual entity. And the terminology here is nafsun wahida. وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا, and created from it its mate. وَبَعْثَ مِنْهُمَا, and then sometimes it said commissioned from it and created from it. بَعْث بَعْضُ الْمَوْتِ, when we say we believe in life after death. And he spread from those two many men and women. بَعْثَ زَوْجَهَا وَبَعْثَ مِنْهُمَا, and from the two of them رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَالنِّسَاء. رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَالنِّسَاء. It's always a significant point for me when it says, and from the two of them scattered like seeds countless men and women. It didn't say countless boys and girls. It said countless men and women. So when it says first you have nafsun wahida, then you have zawjaha, and then you have ba'atha minhuma rijalan kathiran wa nisa. Countless men and women. What's the transition? What's the message? The message is what's missing in between the two for what we're speaking to now. How do you get men and women? Tarbiyah. You get men and women tarbiyah because bint wal walid, you have the boys and the girls. The boys and the girls have to have parents, and the parents have to provide the womb by which or in which or through which those boys and girls become men and women. So the important relationship between nafsun wahida and zawjaha is what gives us rijalan and nisa. So the role that we are to play, and Prophet Muhammad again sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says every child born is born ala al-fitr. They are born on the original nature, the original pattern that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them in and for. But it is their parents that make them Jew, Christian, Magian, or otherwise. He says, just like the animal that comes forth from the womb, do you see any defects on it? There are no defects on that animal that before, ADM, Monsanto, and all the rest of that. We're moving on. The idea is that in the natural state of things, then that condition will remain. But for the culture, in fact, the hadith, the term that's used, abahu, it means you can hear abba, you can hear abi, you can hear ab, you can hear father in that. And when the rejectors rejected what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were bringing them, he said, we will follow the ways of our fathers, as did the others before, those who were rejecting the prophets before. They said, we would rather follow the way of our fathers. Well, what is that? The fathers really constitute the mode, M-O-D-E, the mode that a given society is in, which if it's not the correct mode, then that's what abahu, that's what takes it out of its original nature. Well, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what is he called? He's called the ummi. He's called the ummi. That's not father. That's mother. And sometimes you might wonder, this is kind of a footnote right here. They'll tell you, well, it seems like all the Quran, the message of the Quran is speaking more to the men. Yeah, because they're the ones that need the most fixing. Women are much, much closer to their nature, and for a longer period of time, it's usually men that take the woman out of her natural form. I know you don't want to hear it, but you know what? I already got my ticket back to California, so I ain't worried about you. Plus I got the military on post. They got you. Either way, so mashallah. So the Prophet is ummi. He wasn't affected by the abahu. He wasn't affected by the culture that he was born in. It did not distort and take him out of that nature. He was the ummi. And because he was still true to that original nature, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed that upon his heart. He revealed what would actually we come to read now, the Quran. He revealed it in the book, and then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lived it, right? Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, and she was asked, what is the life of the Prophet? He said, huwa Quran yamshi. He is the Quran walking on two legs. So the Prophet, as the hadith we read, said that nature was put into the human being. The human being was given that nature. And it was born with that nature. But the culture that they were born into took them out of that nature. Then Allah revealed it in the Quran, and you learned it from the Quran, and then you learned it from my sunnah. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is the personification of this excellent nature, unsullied by culture, society, Arab or otherwise. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And this is a part of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us, that he gives us a book and he gives us a model, which if we follow the book and if we follow the model, we will return to our original nature. Ya ayyuhalladhina aminu taqullaha haqq. La 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 la. 30. Fitratullahi lati fatara an-nas alayha. فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليه لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين قيما ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. I'm missing the first part of that verse. In any case, the point is that we are in a position to return, alhamdulillah, for Ramadan, because at the end of Ramadan, what do we have? We have Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr. What is Eid? It's returning. The return of what? Fitr. And what is that? The original nature. We are in a position by fasting in the month of Ramadan, reading the Quran, practicing more of Prophet Muhammad's life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are in a position, as it said, that if we practice the fast in the way that it has been prescribed for us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts our fast, we return to the original state that we were created in. What a blessing. Something to celebrate, isn't it? Alhamdulillah. But a little more about these two, where it says, يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها. So there's two things. Be regardful of your guardian involver. خلقكم من نفس واحدة. خلقكم من نفس واحدة. خلقكم من نفس واحدة. So نفس واحدة is here first. خلقكم من نفس واحدة. So there's نفس واحدة, and then من نفس واحدة is زوجها. So the زوجها is in the نفس واحدة. And if خلق is what was created from نفس واحدة, well, where did نفس واحدة come from? You can say it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's the word for that? What's the word for that? Firstness. Fitr. Allah is Al-Fatir. Al-Fatir. He is the one who originates. And that origination of Fitr, that origination of Fitr is an origination that it comes without a precedent, that comes without material preceding it. Its origin, its original, that is literally, quote unquote, we'd have to go much further, that's literally, let's call it, from nothing. We have later conversation about it. Literally, Allah wills. And He creates nafsun wahida. Who creates nafsun wahida? Now, get rid of the English word right now and go fitr. He fatara nafsun wahida. He originated nafsun wahida. And what about nafsun wahida? In nafsun wahida is the excellence of the masculine and the excellence of the feminine. Big difference when I say feminine, masculine, when I say male, female. Feminine, masculine, male, female. One is abstract, the other is concrete. Feminine are qualities, indeed, if you really want to know, and I know you do, that in order for you to be a healthy, I'll wait till people shift. Go ahead. He's inviting you to move up a little bit if you can. And the Quran says if you're asked to make room in the assembly, then make room. So that's good. But we don't want to be uncomfortable, but okay. There's a quality called syzygy. Syzygy. This is a psychoanalytical term. Syzygy. And I know I'm not in a place where people are afraid of words that don't come in the Quran. Syzygy. Syzygy is a combination. It's a word that's made up of sy, like symbiosis, right? Zij, zyg, as in zygote. Zygote is when the egg of the female and the sperm of the male, they get together, it's fertilized, now you have a zygote. Okay? Sy, that means together. Zygote, that's the male and the female together. And then the suffix y is of the nature. Of the nature. It's of the nature of the combination of the male and the female. Syzygy is a quality in a mature person. It's a male that's comfortable with expressing quote-unquote feminine qualities. Don't get it twisted. I'm coming from California. That literally means don't get it twisted. Okay? So I know what that looks like. That ain't what I'm talking about. So listen, Khalifa what? Feminine term. You spell it out, read it out, feminine. Ta'al mabuta is at the end of it, right? Implies the feminine. Imam from the same feminine in essence, right? So the highest forms of leadership in Al-Islam have to have feminine qualities. And who is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Rahmatan lil alameen. So that rahmah is a feminine quality as well. So you understanding? When I say feminine, I say masculine, these are qualities. These are qualities. It's not biology. It's not anatomy. It's not physical. It's not concrete. It's feminine and masculine. So the healthy male or female, they have this quality called syzygy, where a man is comfortable expressing feminine qualities like love, mercy, compassion, patience, forgiveness. He's not only comfortable with expressing the masculine qualities, what are called prototypically masculine qualities, aggression, control, anger, all those other qualities, right? You have to have both of them. You have to have both of them in balance. I know you can see the picture, yin yang, yin and yang. Different people call it different things. The Tao, where you have the black piece and the white piece, and a white dot in the black side and a black dot in the white side. So it is. Every male has to have a balance of the feminine and the masculine qualities. Every female has to have the balance of the masculine and the feminine qualities. When that's out of balance, that's what you see in a person that they're not balanced. No extremes either way. Okay, so the point to understand is that's a model of nafsun wahida. A model of nafsun wahida, it represents the original conception of God of the excellence of the male, the masculine qualities, masculine attributes that will at some point in God's evolutionary plan Don't worry about that word evolutionary. I'm not talking Darwin. You are Rabbil Alameen. You are an evolved creature. Okay? So that masculine is going to arrive ultimately in a male body. That masculine is going to arrive in a male body. That feminine is going to arrive in a female body. And for the human being, both are going to be present in every male and female. They won't always be balanced. That's what maturity is about. Maturity is about coming to a state where you have embraced and you are expressing both of those qualities. The male is expressing his feminine qualities, but from a masculine core. The female is expressing her masculine qualities, but from a feminine core. She don't do quote-unquote man things like she is a man. You can see she's doing that like a woman would do that thing that a man would normally do. A little bit of humor, because I don't know what y'all to settle in too deep on it. It's you know, YouTube, sometimes you wind up on YouTube where, where they had, I don't watch it a lot, but I remember this one, right? Either way, so there was a fight. Some people, all they do is post fights, right? So this guy, he had hit this woman or something. Somebody happened to be there with the video. And after he hit that woman, he thought he was going to just walk away from it. That woman, she set up just like this. She set up just like this. Now that's the way a man sets up, right? So she's about to get at him the way a man gets at a man, right? And when you see those from alternative lifestyle male now, now he's fighting quote unquote like a woman, right? So the idea is that there are things that men do sometimes that are at the core women's work, quote unquote, all right? And vice versa, that for women. So the idea is that there's the feminine and there's the masculine, there's the male and the female. Nafsun wahida is simply the attributes themselves in perfection as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intend for them to be. Allah's idea of the feminine, Allah's idea of the masculine, Allah's conception of the feminine, Allah's conception of the masculine. That's what's in nafsun wahida. وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا. Its mate. What is its mate? When a man and a woman come together, he as a male, she as a female, they come together now as a couple. They are refiguring, they are representing nafsun wahida in concrete form. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, وَبَعْثَ مِنْهُمَا. And he raised up from those two. Now who are the two? Now we know the two are nafsun wahida and zawjaha. Those are the two. Nafsun wahida and zawjaha. So when you understand that nafsun wahida is are the qualities of the masculine and the feminine, and you understand that zawjaha are living flesh embodiments of the male and the female, and when the male and the female cooperate with each other in accordance with what Allah intended in their creation, minhuma, from the two of them, now you get many rijalin, not just male bodies, you get rijal. Ar-rijal qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa. You get men who establish women, and qanitan salihah, and you get women who are devout and obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Long story, the devoutness, the qunut is for Allah. But if you are devout to Allah, you will also be devout to your real man husband. I got to qualify that. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, if I were to ask any human being to bow to another human being, it would be to ask the woman to bow to her righteous husband. So this rijalin wa nisa, that is men and women, when Allah speaks in the Quran, he speaks of the perfection of whatever is being addressed. It's not the way we do it. Yeah, the believers having fitr tonight, they're having iftar tonight. The believers, is everybody a believer? I mean, everybody walked through the door, but yeah, there was about 10 believers there. Really? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So, in terms of the perfection of it, Ar-Rijal Qawwamuna 'ala an-Nisa, that's a model of what he's talking about when he says men. When Allah says in the men, it says men, then that's what it is. You have men who can be counted on to establish the women. Now, with respect for the time, we're going to be together. Inshallah, we'll be together this evening before iftar as well, inshallah. So the point to be made here is that there's the origination that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He Himself conceives, and He embodied that in nafsun wahida. It's fitr. So now you can take and you can equate fitr with nafsun wahida. Fitr, the original nature of masculine and feminine, is where both of them are in nafsun wahida. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created from that origination, fitr. Khalaqa. Now this khalaqa, what it means, sisters get this much easier than men, I believe. You go to pattern shops. You go to a pattern shop, McCall's, Butterick, those are the only two I know. And you go, and then they have material. They have bolts of material, and you buy the patterns. You buy the patterns, you buy the material. And the patterns are made from this real soft tissue like paper, right? So then you take the bolt, or you take the material, you lay it out, and then you take the paper, and you lay it on top of the material, and then you cut the material out according to the pattern. Then you take away the paper pattern, put that away. Now you have material that's been cut in the shape of the paper pattern. The paper pattern is fitr. The process of cutting that material according to the paper pattern, that's khalaqa. So the fatra was whoever originated the pattern. That's fatra. The khalaqa is the one who took the pattern and put it on some material and then cut the material according to the pattern. That's khalaqa. That's the difference between fatra and khalaqa. One was originated and one was patterned on the original. Okay? So to conclude this portion of the khutbah. So this is fatra khalaqa. So, in fact, I can actually make it easier, inshallah, given this time, because we do want to complete on time. There's a movie, and the movie is called The Odd Life of Timothy Green. The Odd Life of Timothy Green. If you want to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna anbatakum min al-ardi nabat, where Allah says we created you growing gradually from the earth like a plant, go watch that movie. Go watch that movie. It's a quote unquote family friendly movie. But here's the case. Husband and wife try to get together. They do all they can to try to have a child. But somebody, either she's infertile or he's impotent, whatever the case may be, they can't have a child. And so one night they sit down with a bottle of wine and just start talking with each other, having fun, laughing, blah, blah. And they say, okay, well, why don't we do this? If we had a child, what kind of qualities would they have? And so they sat down with two pieces of paper, and the woman, she would say he would be this, talking about the boy and talking about the girl, and then the man would say he would be this, and she would be that. And so they wound up with this whole list of all the excellent qualities of their son, if they had a son, and all the excellent qualities of their daughter, if they had a daughter. And they took those pieces of paper, put them into a chest, and buried them in their backyard. Overnight there was some great storm or what have you, the waters came down, and when they got up the next morning, there was a little boy in the garden with little plants like growing out of his heels. And that little boy, as the story continues to tell you, he manifests all of those qualities and attributes that the mother and the father had written down on the piece of paper. They didn't know where he came from. Well, then that's how it is with us. Allah conceived of our real, true nature. And Allah put His conception of our reality into our bodies. This is what we don't get. Inside of each one of us is exactly what Allah created us to be. Al-Islam is the perfect process for returning to that original nature. This is the blessing that Al-Islam is for us. You have the chance to get back to what you were created as if you would obey. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار آمين آمين الله أكبر. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. So Prophet Muhammad says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, this fitr was put into everybody. This fitr was put into everybody. I want you to take it like everybody and everybody. Do you understand that each one of us is not diluted by there being 7.4 X number of human beings? Our nature is not diluted by those numbers. The nature is still the same. Nafsun wahida. It's still the same. That nature is still the same. And so Prophet Muhammad says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it was revealed in the Quran, and you learned it from my sunnah. I know we have some computer scientists in the room, some code writers in the room. I know we have people that use Google. I know somebody in here uses Google. Sometimes Google, when you open it up, it has those little cartoon characters, whatever. Let's say if they're riding a bicycle, right? So you see the cartoon character riding a bicycle. That's what you see on the screen. But is that what a code writer sees? No. The one who wrote the code for us to be able to see the character riding on a bicycle, all you see is numbers and symbols and letters and the like set in a certain string. In fact, you look at it, all you see is just letters and numbers and, whatever, dingbats, whatever you call them. Okay. So a code writer could look at all those letters and words and stuff and tell you what's going to happen when you put this into a computer. They can read the code. Matrix, huh? They can read the code and tell you what you're going to see when you put that into a system. Now can you see how the Quran is your nature in writing? Because if you put the Quran in you, you will act like a Muslim. When I see one acting not like a Muslim, they're operating on the wrong code. Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran khalaqa al-insan. He caused the Quran to be known. Now you got a real person. And Muhammad is Quran Yamshi. Muhammad is the absolute perfect expression of the Quran living in a body. And what is it? It's your nature walking around. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Muhammad is not the exception. Muhammad is the norm that Allah created and intends for us. Oh, Muhammad, alhamdulillah, Muhammad. But he said, Ana basharun mithlukum. Don't try to play me. Don't try to play me. Oh, you're so great. You're so big. No. I'm you. If you would obey Allah the way I obey Allah, if you would learn the Quran the way I know Quran, you would be what I am. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. He is your model. He our model. He's our reality. Walking around. So we have to pay attention to how we excuse ourselves. Oh, the Quran is heavy. It's too heavy, man. I can't read that Arabic, man. I can't hardly talk English, man. لقد يسرنا القرآن للذكر فهل من مدكر. And we have made the Quran very, very easy. But who's paying attention? Brother and sister, no excuses. No excuses. No excuses. You say, we say. Whenever I say you, it's us. Believe me, I'm there with you. When we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, we are saying, sign me up. That's what we're saying to Allah. Sign me up for the program of return to my original nature. Sign me up. Okay. Your application is accepted. Now it's time for you to practice what you have claimed. Because there's a price to pay for hypocrisy. There's a price to pay for being false to your oath. You might not see it right away, but if you pay attention, you see it in small things. You see it in things happening. Why is this happening? Because you ain't keeping up your prayer. Why is that happening? Because you're not paying the zakat that's due from your mal, from your wealth. Why is this happening? Because you're not restraining yourself in ways that you should restrain yourself. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't have to punish us. Nature itself will punish us. They put it on me, okay? Because I'm in this. I think I might be about 5 pounds overweight. And there's a price I have to pay. Because Al-Islam said, the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, your body has rights over you. And if you don't respect the body's rights, body will make you pay. And I'm using that as a model to say, and it applies to everything across the board. Because Al-Islam, al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinukum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mat wa raditu lakum al-Islam. This day, Allah said, this day have I perfected for you your total way of life. Nothing missing. Nothing. There's not a thing. There's not a thing that you got to go somewhere else to find the ultimate correct answer for whatever it is that you're pursuing. That's His mercy. So we have that perfect way of life. But that also means that there are ways to err in every area of your life when you don't conform to what Allah has revealed about that aspect of your life, and we suffer. Economically, we suffer. As an example, and we're done. For example, the Quran says, let there be traffic and trade amongst you in mutual goodwill. Certain ethnic groups do it better than other ethnic groups. But the invitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is from Muslims. You know, we talk about P to P and B to B. We need some M to M. Muslim to Muslim. Not just peer to peer, business to business. We need some M to M. Muslims doing business with Muslims, regardless of ethnic background or what have you. But each one holding everyone up to ihsan, up to standards of excellence. Don't think just because you're Muslim you can bring me any old kind of thing. Man, we're supposed to be doing business with Muslims. Well, yeah, you're supposed to bring me something I can use too. So just that. And the same applies to governance, and the same applies to academics, and the same applies to our social cultural life. We have to do what Allah has ordered for us to do in all those areas. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has modeled for us every one of those aspects. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل الله محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد والحمد لله رب العالمين. واقم الصلاة. من this way?
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. Make our rules straight and even leave no space between the same power divided to our rules on create a heart of agreement. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر ما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى فيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبكى إن هذا لفي صحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي الدين. الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. So we certainly thank Allah. This is an excellent start to the weekend of this Ramadan study sessions. We will have our Imam back later this evening. We begin at 5 today. The Jumah is on sale. If you want the Jumah from the day to be on sale today, and also all the weekend, all the sessions will be on sale as well. So it's $25 for the whole weekend. And again, you can pay at the window, or you'll be someone here later on today when you come back for the sessions as well. So we thank our Imam for accepting the invitation to come be with us. We have others that will be here for the whole weekend. There'll be about 6 presenters over the whole weekend. And so we look forward to seeing you here as well. So we're going to turn it over to Imam, also commander of Muslim American Brothers Association, Lyndon Bilal, to continue with the announcements.
Yes, sir. Don't forget your zakat and your charity, your zakat and your sadaqah on the way out. Also, don't forget to get your ticket to the Ramadan session and get some more of this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and enthusiasm that Imam Faheem Shuaibe will be delivering. On Sunday, we have another Ramadan session, but the Ta'aleem sessions will continue. The next one, it says June the 3rd, there'll be a feature presenter at 1:30, but that's going to be part of the Ramadan session this weekend. Also, every morning at 4:30 a.m., you can call 712-770-4160, access code 684012, and listen to a presentation from one of the scholars in our association for 30 minutes on the Study al-Islam series during Ramadan. Next Tuesday, June the 5th at 8:30 p.m. at the Addis Israel congregation, we will be attending an Iftar Interfaith dinner. To RSVP, you go to iftarinterfaithdinner@gmail.com. That's iftarinterfaithdinner@gmail.com, and children are welcome. On Thursday, next Thursday, June the 7th at 6:30 p.m., the Washington Interfaith Network Citywide Council Chair Action Committee will be having at 6:30 p.m. a congregation members coming together to raise key issues like affordable housing, equitable development, jobs, and immigrant defense with candidates for the City Council Chair. A confirmed attendant would be the Council Chair Phil Mendelson, Ed Lazer. They're confirmed, and this will take place at the Holy Comforter St. Cyprian Catholic Church on 1357 East Capitol Street, Southeast. Imam Talib Sharif will also speak on the significance of Ramadan before the break fast, so this is an iftar, so please try to attend. There'll be a men's health workshop on Sunday, June the 24th from 2 to 5 p.m. here at Masjid Muhammad is called Love the Health Into Him. To get more information on that, see Sister Saisha Neal. All brothers, sisters, teens, and children are invited. This July 6th through the 8th in Atlanta, Georgia, the Community Life Forward conference will take place. To register, go to www.clf2018.org. And we're still in need of donations for the senior van. So stop by the social hall and leave a donation for that. And lastly, keep in our prayers all the sick and shut in, Sheikh Nazim Abdul Kareem, Dr. Abdul Salam in Chicago, Emma and Yahya Talibdeen, Mujahid Biyah, Martiez Plummer, Manuel and Marguerite Salim, John Madyun, Tanya Farnes, Imam Gaif Nur Kashif, Mustafa Sharif, Kevin Johnson, Dr. Zaid Abdul Kareem, and others not listed. Thank you very much for listening. Get your Ramadan session tickets. No. Also, our community board member, Brother Ibrahim Mukmin, and his wife Carol Mukmin. Brother Ibrahim's wife just passed, so his mother, I'm sorry, just passed, so we want to send our condolences and make dua for her and for the family on that. So get your tickets to the Ramadan session taking place, only $25 downstairs. And Ramadan Mubarak, Jumah Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum.